during the inauguration, Jewel performed for RFK at one of these inaugural balls. And then a bunch of her fans decided to attack her for not showing solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community. I have no idea what beef RFK has with LGBT. There are a lot of acronyms flying around right now. But Jewel decided to completely backtrack and post a lengthy apology to all of these angry fans on Instagram, saying she disavows, essentially. She doesn't associate with the political views of RFK Jr.
I do want to point out, guys, that if you're looking for a way to tell me and Mary's ages apart, I had to explain to Mary who Jewel was.
Yeah. I'm well removed from it.
My mom loved Jewel. She was a folk singer. My mom really loved listening to Jewel's music. Who Will Save Your Soul? It's a very big song back then. But she's, from what I've seen, she seems pretty, I don't know if based is the word, but pretty middle of the road. And
this is not.
No, my point was this story came out on Friday, and I was like, we're back to the apologizing. We're back to the backtracking.
Especially because of an association with someone as relatively inoffensive as RFK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even Zachary Levi, before endorsing Trump, was endorsing
he wasn't
RFK.
The Trump guy. He was an RFK guy.
He was an RFK guy.
But then they would talk about, but here's the thing. If you're in Hollywood, they had articles written. This is like why why being an RFK supporter just means that you're a closet, Nazi, basically. Basically, you were seen as right-wing adjacent, even though he was not ostensibly a right-wing person. He was somebody who left the Democrats.
And then RFK endorsing Trump and that iconic photo of them, shaking hands with the fireworks in the background. Yep. That was all the confirmation bias they needed to prove that RFK is in fact a crypto-Nazi. Yep. So this is why Jewel was forced to bend the knee and apologize to these people.
Here we go.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
As many of you know, I am a mental health advocate.
Do you want to pause as we go, or do you want to wait for the whole thing to be done?
Let's see where it takes us,
If there's anything that I've learned in the past 20 years, it's that mental health affects everybody's lives across party lines. And I believe that there are things that we can do to save lives. I believe I can help. And if I believe I can help, I have to try. And if I wait to try until I agree 100% with the people that might be willing to help me, I'd never get off the bench. I don't think that's how activism works. Waiting until everything's perfect enough to participate. It's actually because things are so imperfect that we have to find ways to engage and to participate. And we have to act now. We cannot wait another 4 years.
None of this means anything.
I believe there are people in the new administration that are willing to help on this issue.
But it doesn't matter because you can't have an opinion because you're guilty by association.
Wait, when she's referring to this issue, is she talking about what? Like
mental
LGBT
health?
Or
getting rid of McDonald's? That's what she's
What
talking
issue?
about.
Like what LGBT issue exists?
And I do not agree on all the politics. But if I can help shape policy, make sure mental health is in the conversation when it comes to American health, if I can help put resources...
RFK's like, yeah, go work out, lift heavy things. It'll be great for your mental health.
Go in the woods.
Yeah.
Or mental health tools into the hands of the most vulnerable who need it, I'm going to try. And I'm going to fight. Half of our country feels hope right now. And I honor that. And half of our country feels disenfranchised and scared and vulnerable.
Well, here's the problem with that is that's pretty much true every election cycle. So it's kind of a non-starter to apologize or acknowledge because every 4 years this happens.
Yeah.
And that is unacceptable. And I am so sorry that I caused pain. Especially in my LGBTQIA plus community, because you guys are treasures.
Well, that was a mouthful.
You make the world a better place. You've made my life a better place. It pains me. And
They're literally like swarming you in your comment sections, calling you a piece of shit. How have they made your life better?
But even, isn't it kind of funny how what that means? The quiet part out loud would be like, you bought my records, therefore you made my life a better place.
Like, you gave me money, and
fiscally,
I love you for that.
Your adherence to capitalist tendencies has made my life a better place.
Incredible.
And I am so sorry. Some of my longtime fans feel that I let them down. Oh.
What? What is this? This is so creepy.
I want to be a ray of light in this world.
Here's the thing.
Ew.
I get the impulse, but that doesn't exist in the political sphere. Not in the universal sense that you're talking about. That's why you should, if you don't want to be willing to be a dark cloud to someone, you better just stay in the arts entirely and only focus on what you're creating. Because once you wade into political waters of any sort, activist waters of any sort, you are no longer going to be a universally seen ray of light. You could argue that even in the music scene, you're not going to be, because there's got to be somebody out there who hears your music and is just like, oh my God, turn that shit off. But the point being that if you're looking for the kumbaya positivity, you're in the wrong place.
No, you can't win everyone. And, this, like, strange affect she's putting on, this, like, motherly persona that she's giving to her fans is extremely creepy and very contrived.
Looks like somebody tried to draw J.K. Rowling from memory.
Well, it does. But, like, what is this, like, oh, I'm so sorry that I caused pain. And then she just stares into your soul. Yep. Like, why are you creating this parasocial relationship with people? That's why they are flaming you right now, because they feel overly familiar with you.
Would it be funny if it turned into like a weird, like, parody where she starts performing one of her songs? She starts performing Foolish Games.
A stranger can't betray you on a personal level. That's not possible. She's bringing this problem onto herself, really.
I try hard to be a ray of light in your lives.
Again, you can do that in the music sense, but once you get into the political sphere, you are no longer going to be that for everyone.
And I know that in times of darkness, we must grow light.
What?
Again, none of this means anything.
And so I will wake up again tomorrow and try again. And I will count on each of you to do the same.
Okay, it is 100% on brand for like a folk singer, deeply emotional. I buy it 100%. I believe that she probably actually means every word that she's saying. She's just not ready for the smoke that comes from wading into the waters that you've waded into.
And this is, okay, her justification for performing at this event is that she's a mental health advocate, so she wants mental health to be considered, and she wants policy making to consider mental health when it comes to RFK's whole goal of, like, making America healthy again. But here were some of the responses. One said, I like how she threw her mental health advocacy into the fire. Like I did it because I was using my platform to advocate for XYZ, knowing full well this admin will strip away healthcare and access to mental health aid. At the end of the day, she owes her fans nothing, just as those disappointed with her actions don't owe it to her to listen to this foolish game. Oh, another one said, if you genuinely,
I do want to know.
If you genuinely believe anyone in the new administration cares at all about mental health, then you are going to be disappointed. Well, that's only fair. Another one said, so the mental health of immigrants doesn't matter?
Well, technically, actually, on the policy level, on the legislative level, it's technically not supposed to. No. Like, that's not me being mean. I'm saying legitimately, it's not supposed to be the concern of U.S. government policy about and you're, of course, interchangeably using immigrant when what you mean is illegal immigration, which is not supposed to be of concern for U.S. policymakers outside of ensuring that those living in the United States are here legally.
Well, it looks like she was clearly afraid of receiving the same level of backlash
Carrie Underwood
got when she decided to perform at Trump's inauguration. It looks like Carrie Underwood saw a dip in streaming numbers for her music after the inauguration, and I don't know if I believe it.
It's
I
also
feel like
weird
they're making this up.
Because just the other day on Hulu, they were advertising a documentary for like, it's like a Carrie Underwood documentary about her residency
In
Las Vegas. Yeah.
Oh,
So, I mean, she's clearly in the news.
Yeah. Well, he also addressed Nelly, who performed at the Liberty inaugural ball. Both of them seem to have experienced a little bit of a dip in their streaming daily totals as a result.
But it's okay because Trick Daddy congratulated him. Trick Daddy, of course, made one of my favorite rap songs of all time, Thug Holiday, which everybody should go listen to. It's fantastic.
But here's the other
and
side.
Back in the Days by Trick Daddy. Sorry.
Both Carrie Underwood and Nelly experienced an uptick in their digital sales on those days of their performances.
I mean, that kind of falls in line. Think about this on the macro scale. Trump voters buy physical media.
Yeah.
Harris voters stream their music.
Probably speaks to the age demographic, really, which is not a good sign.
But it's just funny because if you look at what Nelly actually said, he said he would have done it for either administration and that performing for the president of the United States is an honor.
Do you think Carrie Underwood would have performed if asked for Kamala?
I mean, she got behind them. They were literally standing right next to her at the event. So,
but would she? I don't think she would have.
You don't think she would have?
To be entirely honest, I don't think that Carrie Underwood.
She's so mainstream now. Like, if we were talking like somebody that was country, I'm not saying that she's not country only. I'm saying she has broad mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
Like, if we're talking like somebody who's only ever done like country music on a smaller scale, and that's their audience, that's their niche, she's got mainstream pop appeal as well.
Right. I know that it wouldn't be controversial for her to do it, but I don't think that Carrie Underwood would agree to it. I don't think she would have taken it if the offer were brought to her, because she is right wing.
Think so? I don't know.
You can tell by all of her work. You can tell by these music videos that she does and everything she said publicly that's even vaguely political. You can tell that she actually is right-wing and relatively conservative, especially for her industry.
I guess maybe it's just the centrist in me that everybody will hate, but I do like the idea of the days of old where it was an honor either way, and the betterment of the country united artists and citizens alike. Now, I know that is about as utopian of an idea as any political philosophy in 2025 America. We don't seem to be connected in that way anymore, as proof by what happened to Nelly after he gave that response. But I do miss that. What was it? Beyonce performing for George Bush.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, when she was in Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they needed that opportunity.
Yeah.
Kind of a launch pad for her solo career.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I think that it's sad that, and I don't think those streaming numbers will stay lower. I think they'll and also remember, people have really, really short attention spans. A week from now, somebody who stopped streaming her on Inauguration Day will be listening to some song of hers and be like, wasn't I pissed at them for some reason?
Yeah. The outrage cycle just moves too fast for them.
I was reading this long thread from actor Wendell Pierce about hypocrisy when it comes to deportations. He was talking about notice how everyone being deported is from Mexico or Colombia or Honduras, and they're not deporting the Russians in New York and stuff like that. And I'm reading this long thread, and in general, I disagree with it, mainly on the principle that if you look at the sheer numbers of which group has the most citizens, non-citizens in the U.S., but I disagree with it, and the thread is kind of cringy, whatever. Doesn't stop me loving his acting, but, if you're somebody who doesn't have that same kind of tolerance for separating art from artist, a month from now, you might be watching season 1 of Jack Ryan again, and you see him, and you're like, didn't he say something annoying recently? Or you're rewatching The Wire, and you're like, didn't he say something annoying recently? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing when you're boycotting for some very specific reason, but if you just know, oh, this actor voted for someone that I didn't vote for, that's not a reason to close yourself off from everything they've ever done.
You lose out. You lose out on great art when you do things that way.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.